Hello, my dear friends, let us study one more poem from Matthew Arnold, one among the three greatest poets of Victorian age. The poem that we are going to study line by line is Dover Beach. Dover Beach is one among the five ancient beaches of England. And from this very particular place, this very particular beach that is actually located in the eastern coast of Kent, the distance of Calais, a French city of Perth, is just 21 miles. So if a person stands close to this very particular beach or stands at that very particular beach, one can see the coastal area of France also. So in this very particular poem, actually Matthew Arnold is describing his own feelings. The poem is actually a dramatic monologue. In dramatic monologue, actually we have an imaginary character. That very particular character is seen or is heard speaking to imagined listeners. So in this very particular poem, we have an imagined character, a person. Maybe this person is a newly married person and is none other than Matthew Arnold. Why? Because this very particular poem was composed in the year 1851, the year Matthew Arnold married Frances Lucy Whiteman. This was the name of his wife, and he married her in the year 1851. And there are some critics who say that while actually honeymooning, Matthew Arnold had composed this very particular poem. But remember, dear friends, that though the poem was written by him in the year 1851 while he was honeymooning, the poem was published much later in the year 1867 in a poetic collection called New Poems. This very particular poem is actually divided in 4 parts. The total number of the lines used in this very particular poem is actually 37. But the first stanza that I'm going to explain it to you is consisted of 14 lines. And in these 14 lines, actually, Matthew Arnold is describing his feelings. Actually, he is describing or sharing with us his heartfelt desire, what he felt standing a little bit away from Dover Beach. The way he speaks, it seems that that the speaker of the poem is in a particular room, and that room has a window opening towards Dover Beach, from where one can see Dover Beach and can see even the French coastal area or French coast also. The poet or the speaker of the poem is just is the speaker of the poem looks out of the window, and when he looks out of the window he sees Dover Beach. It is night time, and what kind of a night is it? It is a peaceful night. But how this peaceful night, how does this peaceful night actually bring lots of disturbing thoughts, into the mind of the speaker of the poem. Since the poem was written in Victorian age, you know that Victorian age was the age of rapid industrialization, rapid urbanization. England very rapidly was prospering. England very rapidly was becoming stronger and stronger financially, economically, but there were certain complications and problems that also started cropping up in England. It was the time when Charles Darwin came with his book, The Evolution of Species, in which he questioned the existence of the God. He questioned that century-year-old belief of the people that God has created humans. Here he questions, and that shatters and shocks the people of England, particularly the intellectual people of England, or the intellectual class of England. This was the time that brought a lot of confusion and complications among English people. On one hand, material progress; on the other hand, spiritual loss of faith in religion. And here in this very particular poem we can say that Matthew Arnold is to some extent grieving over, some extent lamenting over the loss of that religious faith, because he thinks, since he is a classicist, he believes in religion, he believes in humanity, he believes in spirituality, he is a devout Christian, and now he can see that the faith of the religion is what? Dwindling. The faith of the religion is what? Slowly losing its hold. People are getting material and losing their belief in the religion. To some extent he can predict the future. He can see the future. He can see where England is going. What could be the outcome of this loss of faith of the people of England in religion? These are the things actually Matthew Arnold is actually discussing or sharing with us through this poem. So now let's look at the first stanza of the poem that has 14 lines. Let's begin. The sea is calm tonight. So see the beginning of the poem. How peaceful the atmosphere is, the setting of the poem is. It seems as if Matthew Arnold is going to lead us into a beautiful romantic world. Why? Because how does he begin the poem? The sea is calm tonight. Means how peaceful the sea looks, particularly to this speaker of the poem, who is probably just is in a room, and in a room with a window that opens that opens that opens in the direction from where one can see Dover Beach. He says from there he sees Dover Beach and he finds it absolutely peaceful, calm, peaceful. But see how the sight deceives. How the sight deceives. The tide is full, the moon lies fair. See the beautiful line. See how does the poem begin in a very romantic and in a very peaceful manner. But very soon we'll find a rapid or absolute change. The tide is full. He says that the tide in the sea is full, the wave. The moon lies fair. And how does the moon lie? And sometimes what we see thing is absolutely contrary to that. And generally, sometimes the sight does not convey what the sound is capable of conveying. Sometimes the sight deceives. Sometimes what we see with our own eyes is not true, but what we hear through our ear conveys the real meaning or conveys the reality. So he can see a beautiful, perfect picture of the sea, beautiful, calm sea, but very soon the sound will convey what the scene or the sight can never. See the contrast. The tide is full, the moon lies fair, means like fair, beautiful upon the straight. You can say a narrow. You can say this is stretch of water body that lies between two land mass. One belongs to England, whereas the other belongs to France. So that is straits means a long narrow stretch of water body. So upon the strait, so the moon, the soft light of the moon falls in a very pleasant manner on this narrow stretch of water body on the French coast. On the French coast, the light glimpses and is gone, and from this window he can see that French the French sea coast, where sometime all of a sudden the French coast gets lit up, all because of that rotating or revolving light fixed on the top of the lighthouse. And sometime that light disappears and he finds absolute darkness. The speaker of the poem can see all that. Why? Because the speaker of the poem is standing close to the window of the room he is staying in, and from there he sees all that. The light glimpses and gone, the cliffs of England stand. So see, There he find the light coming and going. But see, the cliffs of England stand. How? Absolutely balanced. Absolutely. What does the cliffs of England stand for? Solidarity, the balance. The country was in absolute balance. This is a kind of a symbol used for showing the prosperity of England, that how how England was getting prosper day by day, and that prosperity was giving what? Giving the balance. That prosperity was balancing this country, and England by and large was getting what? Getting colonial king. See, the cliffs of England stand glimmering, and they are shining because of the moonlight falling on them. Vast, so huge and so huge and so huge and gigantic out in the tranquil bay. And just beside that there is a bay inlet, and everything here looks peaceful. See, how is the situation absolutely different from what it looks like? How is the scene looks like? Absolutely pleasant, absolutely quiet, absolutely calm. But there is disturbance, there is complication, that is undercurrent, that the sight does not allow to see, but the sound will soon allow to catch it up. See this glimmering vast tranquil bay. Come to the window. Now see this here. The speaker of the poem speaks to someone, it seems. He says, come to the window. It means the speaker of the poem is standing close to the window, standing just near the window. And here he's asking somebody. And maybe it is the person he is asking is none other than his life partner. Sweet is the night air. See, sweet is the night air. How peaceful the night is at present. Only from the long line of spray, that very particular line or that very particular place, that very particular beach area where the waves of the sea come and clash. And retreat, go back, bearing shingles, means round shape stones, and then fling them back. So the line where the sea waves come and hit and spread, spread, spread the water. There, there he notices something, or there is something undercurrent. See this? Come to the window, sweet is the night air, only from, see, only from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon. Blanched land, blanched, a French word that means absolutely white. So the speaker of the poem says that the place where actually the sea, the waves of the sea actually touch, the waves of the sea touch actually that line, that coastal area, that beach where the moon falls, and because of the moonlight, that very particular area looks, or that very particular place looks absolutely white, there he notices or he hears something absolutely contrary to the sight, to the scene. See, listen, he said, listen, you hear the grating roar. So see, now there is a shift. There is a change in the tone of the speaker. Now the poet uses the words grating, grating, irritating. That very particular sound that does not that does not sound pleasant, that our ears do not love to hear. That kind of sound he catches from that very particular place. The waves of the sea just touch touch the touch the beach. There he hears, see, of pebbles. So this grating sound is the sound made by the pebbles, which the waves draw back and fling. So see, the waves, he can see a particular place where waves are coming and going back, bearing the pebbles, just a circular stone, and after certain time again coming and throwing those pebbles back here and there on the beach. From there, he catches, the speaker of the poem catches irritating sound, undercurrent, and here the speaker of the poem is using this this uh, this C symbol particularly to speak volume about the complications and the problems, that the complication of the problem that was undercurrent, or that is undercurrent, the sufferings and the problems. England as well as the rest of the countries of Europe were, the England as well as the countries of the Europe was going to face, and to some extent Matthew Arnold was was to some extent Matthew Arnold had predicted, anticipated the right, because Matthew Arnold died in 1888, and exactly after, you can say 1214, exactly after 26 year, just Europe was dragged into First World War and then Second World War in the year 1939. So same, to some extent here he is sensing that difficulty and problem of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling, and their return up the high strand, and how the waves are coming and carrying the pebbles, and then again coming and throwing and going up that very particular sea beach that goes like this low to high strand. Begin and cease means how the waves are, how sometimes the waves actually do come, and how sometimes the waves do stop and then come. And this process is on and on and on. Begin and cease and then again begin with tremulous cadence. Cadence is a kind of a rhythm. Slow and begin. The eternal note of sadness. The eternal note of the sadness means that note of sadness is there for a long time. That note of sadness is undercurrent, not at present. It is undercurrent for a long time. So he finds, he hears, he catches an eternal note of sad, eternal, permanent, that is there for a long time, many, you can say years, not years, centuries. Why? Because in the next stanza he will give a reference of Sophocles. Sophocles, one among the three greatest Greek tragedians, known for just Oedipus Rex and so many other dramas, so many other tragedies. So I hope, my dear learners, you must have enjoyed my explanation of this first stanza of this very particular poem. That's it in this video. Very soon we'll meet again with the second stanza of this poem.